Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Looking forward to perhaps a sunny few days over the weekend and next week. Just want to begin this morning with two cars. A Bentley Bentayga. Many of us will be very familiar with seeing these down in the showroom in the village, even if we've never been inside one. Starts at £135,000, but if you want a fancy model, you can go up to well over 200,000. And an Audi Q7, still a nice car, but you can get one for about 50,000. Notice any similarity? Very similar. In fact, they are basically the same car. They've got different frills, different covers, but they're made in the same factory. They're basically the same car. Just a massive difference in price. Both, of course, well out of my price range. But when you strip them back, they're basically the same thing underneath. Well, in the last 12 weeks, we have been stripped back of many of the things, many of our frills and covers and the face we present to the world have been stripped away from us. And as we have a prospect of emerging from the lockdown over the next few weeks, we can go shopping, we can go to bars and restaurants, hopefully in a few weeks, might even manage a short summer holiday within the UK. But as we begin to emerge from that, we don't want to lose the things that we might have learnt over the last 12 weeks. It's been difficult for many of us, for most of us perhaps, but it has taught us what we're living for, and whether that's worth it. Money has been not terribly relevant in recent weeks, whether you've got lots of it or not. There's been nowhere to spend it. Work has been limited. Some people have been furloughed. Some people have been doing their work but restricted. Many people in the next few weeks will probably be losing their jobs, sadly. And of course, our work within school has been restricted. Our friends have been distant. Our ambitions, our exams, our results, the next step on the ladder has been frozen, has been paused, become less important. Of course, our image, our clothes, our haircuts, our image, well, who cares? Because we're not going to see anyone. No one's had a haircut. No one's wearing fancy clothes or buying new clothes. No one's putting on makeup. Many of us live for sport, whether it's playing or watching it. No Premier League, no Test cricket, no Wimbledon, Six Nations still not finished. Some of those beginning to start again, but for those who live for sport, again, it's been difficult. And talking of cars, well, it doesn't really matter what car you've got because no one's been driving anywhere. What are we living for? And perhaps, if anything, the last 12 weeks have shown us that if what we're living for can be taken away from us so easily by a health scare, a serious one, but a health scare, then is it worth living for? Is it worth investing the meaning of our life in such shaky ground? Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11 says this: God has set eternity in the hearts of men. God has set eternity in the hearts of men. And Jesus' claim is that we are designed to live for God. What are we living for? Jesus says every human being is designed to live for God, and nothing else can fill that void. And if we live for other things, they won't satisfy us, ultimately. They won't bring us life-lasting or indeed eternal happiness. We're designed to live for God, nothing and no one else. Just three quotes from different people down the years to illustrate that. Augustine, the great 5th century bishop: "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." Restless until they rest in you. There is only peace as we live for God. Blaise Pascal, a 17th century French philosopher and scientist: "There is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of each person, which cannot be satisfied by any created thing, but only by God the Creator, known through Jesus Christ." A God-shaped vacuum inside us. And finally, C.S. Lewis, the author of the Chronicles of Narnia and many other books, talking about the meaning of our lives: "It would seem that God finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink, pleasure, and ambition, when infinite joy is offered to us. Like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum, because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the seaside. We are far too easily pleased. So as we reflect on the last few weeks, as we look forward to hopefully being back together in September and being together in smaller groups before then, let us remember that question: what are we living for? God has set eternity in the hearts of men. We can only find rest and peace as we rest in him.